It's time to lock in my Game Week 37 team selection, and the big question that I still need to answer is it worth buying Ollie Watkins for a -4 and captaining him? We're going to talk about that in today's video alongside all of the other Game Week 37 hot topics. So as always, if you're looking forward to it, make sure you drop a like and of course hit that subscribe button. It's never too late to do so. Enough waffling, let's get into today's video. So first up, for those that maybe missed my transfer plans video, a quick recap on how Game Week 36 went, and I'll give a bit of an understanding on what situation my team is like going into Game Week 37. So 55 points net, because I did take a -4, left me with a red arrow from around 50k to 52k, so it wasn't all doom and gloom because I actually had some decent performers in Game Week 36. Martinez, Munoz, Gvardiol, Livramento, basically all of the backline delivered, whereas the front line done the opposite. 1 pointer for Vissa, 2 pointer for ISAK, and 1 pointer for Mateta. Of course, that early Man City team league with Savinho and Marmoush bench lent me to buy Kevin De Bruyne because I expected them to win, and of course they didn't. So all in all, good game week, but the -4 to bring in KDB effectively left me with a small red arrow. And now I'm going into Game Week 37 with triple Aston Villa, which is not allowing me to pivot towards Ollie Watkins. Again, not ideal. We're in a situation right now, we got one free transfer, 0.9 million in the bank. And obviously I want to attack this Game Week 37 fixture, but at the expense of a -4 after already getting hurt by one in Game Week 36 is where I'm kind of left right now. So let's talk about all that. Of course, let me know in the comment section how many points you scored in Game Week 36, but we've got to cover off some of these hot topics now. So before we get into my Game Week 37 team selection, I want to quickly cover off some of these hot topics. Now, I really do recommend checking out yesterday's video, which looked at the top transfers. We discussed in detail Ollie Watkins, Eze, whether we should avoid him, whether you should sell Mo Salah, and some of the best differential forwards in the game like Delap, Jamie Vardy, to name a few. So make sure you do check out yesterday's video. But here I want to cover off just some general hot topics. If you have further questions, please do pop them in the comment section of this video. So first up, quite a popular one right now, and I'm going to cover off kind of every avenue of this, is what do we do with Ollie Watkins? Do we sell Alexander Isak to buy Watkins? So first and foremost, I want to cover off Watkins in general. If you can buy Ollie Watkins, and you could do so for a free transfer, I think you get it done. If you own Mateta, I would sell Mateta to Watkins. If you own Marmoush, I would sell Marmoush to Watkins. I would go as far to say I would sell Cunha to bring in Watkins, because I think Watkins is the standout player for not only this week, but for Game Week 38 as well. We've already had Ange come out yesterday and state that he has to rotate this team. A lot of us thought that possibly Spurs might play a strong team going into the Europa League final. That's not the case. He's already come out and stated that the injury that was sustained to Kulusevski is a bit of a red flag and a warning of what could happen on Friday. So I personally think he's going to play a terrible team, and it makes Watkins almost essential for those managers that can do it as a free transfer. Now, Isak to Watkins is interesting because this week it's a no-brainer. Watkins is the better pick. Next week, I would say it's quite even. Watkins away against Man United after a Europa League final. Newcastle at home against Everton in a must-win game. Everton after that Goodison Park final game. I think that's a recipe for goals in that Newcastle game. But if I was in this game week right now and I had a free transfer, I probably would sell Isak to Watkins because I think the captaincy on Watkins would justify it. So I am just leaning towards that. But all in all, if you can get to Watkins, I would go there. Now, in terms of selling Mo Salah, again, I touched on this in detail in my previous video, so make sure you do check that out. But I don't really like it unless you are selling Mo Salah as part of a transfer combination. So if you're just doing Mo Salah to Cole Palmer, I probably wouldn't just do that. But if you're doing Salah down to Palmer to then open up 3 million to then upgrade Mateta to Watkins, then yes, I can get behind that because it's only 2 weeks left. And Liverpool, of course, have been away. Ibiza for Slot, Dubai for the players. I'm not expecting a great performance from Liverpool in this Brighton game. And Brighton are one of those teams where Herzl has come up and said he wants to disrupt the top teams. And they have done so this season, whereas they've stumbled in some of the quote-unquote easier games. So I'm expecting a tough game for Liverpool. And I can get behind selling Mo Salah if it is part of a Watkins combination move. Now, in terms of the assistant manager, because I know some of you are on it right now, and I'm very jealous if you are, because I think there are some good options available. So it kind of splits two ways. You either go for the safe pick or you go for the table bonus if you're chasing rank. Now, if you're going for the safe pick, I think David Moyes is as safe as they come. I don't think we can lock in, Chelsea. I don't think you can absolutely lock in Arteta. Don't think you can lock in Pep Guardiola. Moyes at home, final Goodison game, I think that is pretty safe as a pick. But in terms of the table bonus, we have two options, Hurtzler and Moyes. Now, a lot of the community are moving towards David Moyes, and I do like it. At home against a Forest team that are stumbling a little bit. But I don't know why. I just got this feeling that Hurtzler is going to get this result against Liverpool. I think it's a perfect storm. Brighton have consistently performed against the big teams and put in great performances. And Liverpool have won the league, no motivation, away from home. I'll be quite tempted by Hurtzler myself. I can at least see a draw in that situation, which would most likely match what David Moyes would get you. Now, in terms of the top three differentials, we covered all of these in yesterday's video. But at number 3 it is going to be Asensio. I think he starts in game week 37. We got Jacob Ramsey suspended. We have got, of course, Tielemans out for the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a double pivot of Onana and Kamara. And then we most likely will see Asensio in the 10 or on one of the flanks. But I'd be very surprised by that based on what Emery's lineups have been historically. So Asensio in that number 10 against a Spurs team that are heavily rotated makes him one of the best differentials in the game. But I wouldn't prioritise him over Watkins or Rodgers. Now, number 2 is going to be Beto. Don't like him for game week 38, but for game week 37 in isolation, at home is fantastic. I really do like it for those managers that are looking to be a little bit different with their transfers. But he isn't my number 1 forward, because that man is going to be Jamie Vardy. Now, this is the definition of a game week 37 differential, because he's already come out and stated that he won't be playing in game week 38. I believe it's because he finishes on 500 games for Leicester and he wants to keep it at 500. And all he needs is 1 goal in this game to get 200 Leicester goals. And it just feels like the stars have aligned for Vardy to have his 500th appearance and score his 200th goal. So I think Vardy is one of the best differentials this game week and maybe even a differential captain. Now, finally, will Palace and Man City rotate in game week 37? Because, of course, they got the FA Cup final on Saturday. Palace, for example, play on the Tuesday. It is not a great turnaround. For me, I'm expecting full rotation at Palace in game week 37 at home to Wolves. I think if they win the game, they're going to be on a complete high, and I just don't think the atmosphere is going to be great for Palace because they're just going to be on a come down from that victory. And if they lose, it's going to be a terrible feeling as well. I don't see a situation where Palace are 1, strong in that game, and 2, put in a good performance. So I think if you're looking to sell Palace players, I can totally get behind it. And I would probably prioritise selling Mateta first, then I'd probably sell Eze, and then finally I would sell Munoz. That's a bit controversial because I know a lot of managers are buying Eze this week. You know my thoughts on that, guys. I think he's a total avoid this week. In terms of Man City, I just don't see how they can rotate. They're not in a position in the Premier League where the top 5 is locked in. They need that result, and it's not a guaranteed win against Bournemouth by any means. And of course, it is the final game for Kevin De Bruyne as well at the Etihad. Similar situation to that of Jamie Vardy. So anything could happen in this FA Cup, but I think we can confidently say that Palace will be somewhat rotated because of no motivation in the league. I think Nketiah starts. In terms of Man City, they can't afford to rotate mass. So I do expect the big guns still to play for Man City. Who that is going to be, though, is the question. If I've missed any hot topics, please do pop them in the comment section. Let's get into my team selection. Now, moving into my Game Week 37 team selection, kicking things off with the goalkeepers and defence. And as you can see here, no plan on making a transfer. I think you've got to be in a real luxury position to use one of your free transfers for a goalkeeper or a defender, because the ceiling for them sometimes just isn't huge. I don't think there are many fantastic options available in these positions. Now, this is a big moment in my week because getting the right combination of goalkeeper and defender feels massive. We got it right last week. This week, I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm currently playing a double Aston Villa defence and benching double Arsenal defence. We all know how that's going to go. But I think Spurs are going to be so heavily rotated. I think they're going to be so disjointed. Prioritisation is going to be on the Europa League final that I just don't see how they're going to put in a resolute performance. It's not like Spurs are blessed with an academy team that are coming up trying to get themselves in that starting 11. They are quite a thin squad. I do look at them. And I don't think they have competition for places, to be honest. So I think Aston Villa are going to win this game. And if I'm going to go for one, I might as well lean into two. So we're going to start Martinez and Konsa. I could be tempted by Kivior if I panic, but right now I'm happy with that selection. Alongside that, we're going for Munoz and Vardial. Vardial perfectly fine, but both of these players, Munoz and Vardial, have the FA Cup final as I discussed. And both could possibly not play this fixture, but I think both are really important for their systems. And I think Munoz is just one of those freak players who's an absolute athlete and probably does play all of the games between now and the end of the season. But if I do get a little bit of a panic, then I can easily bring in Kivior for one of those two if there's a press conference today that suggests that there could be some mass rotation to some key starters usually. But I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm happy to go for the double Aston Villa defence. That might offset Ollie Watkins if he does do well, but Villa do keep that clean sheet. Moving into my game week 37 midfielders, and as you can see, no transfers planned for my midfielders, and this one might be a little bit controversial. So in terms of what I have right now, Mbeumo at home against Fulham, fantastic, and definitely on my captaincy radar. We got Kevin De Bruyne at home against Bournemouth. Now, a few people are panicking about it. If you own De Bruyne, you got to keep him, start him, and hope for the best. We have no idea whether he plays the FA Cup final, but I just can't imagine him not playing significant minutes in his final home game at the Etihad. Emotion might get the better of him and the team, and they might not put in a good performance. But what the good thing is that the top five is more important, unfortunately, KDB lovers out there, than him leaving the club. It is really important that they get the result first and foremost, then they celebrate De Bruyne afterwards. If it's 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, I don't see them do the standing ovation for De Bruyne. They got to get the victory. That is the most important thing to lock down top five. So De Bruyne for me is still in the team, and I'm happy with it. Alongside that, Morgan Rogers, a lot of people are looking to bring him in. Obviously, I'm happy to have him, and I expect him to do okay in this Spurs game, but he is chief points avoider whenever I do start him. Now, the two that are a little bit up for debate. We got Mo Salah away against Brighton, as I discussed. Now, for me, he is the cash cow if I wanted to maybe sell someone off to bring in Ollie Watkins. But as you can see, I've already named 3 Aston Villa players. And as I discussed in my transfer plan video, I can't get to Ollie Watkins unless I sell Martinez down to a cheap goalkeeper. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense for my team. So that's why Salah for me just doesn't need to be part of a transfer combination. So I'm happy to keep him. Yes, Palmer is tempting, but I also just don't trust Chelsea right now with Jackson now being suspended. And then we do have Sarr. Now again, Sarr's a bit of a problem for the team because I don't know whether he starts in this game. I could easily see him being benched, and someone like Kamada might play there if he doesn't play in the centre mid of the FA Cup final. So Sarr's an issue. I could see myself possibly going there, but equally I might just go for a Kivior instead of Sarr and play a 4-4-2 formation. But that will contradict who is going to be one of my forwards. But I don't see myself making a midfield transfer. I do see myself just keeping it as it is and hoping Crystal Palace plays somewhat of a strong team that includes Sarr and Munoz. Moving into my game week 37 forwards, and as you can see, we're going to go for the two of ISAK and Visser. Now look, I absolutely want Ollie Watkins. If I didn't have triple Villa, bit of a planning problem from my side, then I would sell Mateta in a heartbeat. I would bring in Watkins and I would put the captaincy on him. But for my team, as I discussed, I got to downgrade Martinez and then I got to sell Mateta, all part of a -4. Then I would play Raya. I just think it's a bit counterintuitive. I could easily see Aston Villa keeping a clean sheet in this game. And if they do, then it kind of negates the -4 that I'm taking for Ollie Watkins. So I'm just going to sit behind a big sofa tonight, not watch the football, and pray that Ollie Watkins just gets a goal. I'll take a goal because I think it could be so much more. So a goal's actually a bit of a blessing, and then we know he will walk away with top bonuses, what he does. So ISAK away against Arsenal is a deliberation. I don't love it, but I do like him for game week 38. So I'm planning to keep him. And as I discussed, we're going to play Visser at home against Fulham. Hopefully he can reward us because we did go all in on him in game week 36. And obviously he did blank. So that is the team. The plan's to roll the transfer and give myself some flexibility in game week 38. And as I said, just pray Watkins doesn't demolish me because I do feel like he is going to be the standout pick this week. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does walk away with a monster double-digit haul. Now, in terms of captaincy, as I discussed, if you have Watkins, you captain him. I don't think anybody comes close to him this week. But for the options available to me, I'm going to go for Mbeumo. I feel like at home, on penalties, guaranteed 90 minutes, on set pieces, decent enough fixture at home. I think those tick all the boxes that I'm looking for as a captaincy pick. I would love to go for a nostalgic pick on Kevin De Bruyne, but that FA Cup final just before cast some doubt. And to be honest with you, I probably will put the vice captaincy most likely on Mo Salah. I might just switch that, but captaincy for me isn't really close. If we don't have Watkins, I think the next best is Bryan Mbeumo. So that is going to be the team for game week 37. I'm pretty much locked in unless a press conference kind of throws my plans off. Let me know your plans in the comments section if you have any questions. I might just quickly show you now what I'm planning for game week 38. So with only one game week left after this week, it's pretty easy to have some sort of plan on exactly what you want to do. And it is worth noting, if you do plan on rolling your transfer in game week 37, you got to make sure that you actually have some decent moves that you can make that justify you taking that transfer into the final game week of the season. So as you can see, my game week 37 team looks like this. Pretty content with it. Going into game week 38, I think the team pretty much picks itself. And I wanted to just kind of select it while I'm doing here to show you. So I think it's quite clear that Munoz will be on the bench, Mateta will be on the bench, and Sarr will be on the bench. And I would play a 4-4-2 right now. And I think that team actually looks okay. Remember, Villa will be playing against a Man United team 3 days after the Europa League final, 4 days after. That's really good. But with 2 free transfers, I've got to ask myself, how does this team improve? How do I make it any better? Well, I think firstly, I need to get some goals in this team. And I think with the fixtures available to us, if we come down to game week 38, shout out to FPL team for the website, I've got to target the best fixtures. And that is going to be Arsenal away against Southampton. I know Southampton put up a good performance against City. I think Arsenal will just get the job done there. Bournemouth at home against Leicester is one of the standouts. I'm tripled up on Aston Villa, so I can't really go there as we discussed. Outside of that, I don't want Ipswich, to be honest. I don't really want to go West Ham, and there's no one else really that tempting. So it's a very, very easy decision for me in game week 38. And I'm going to put out there, this is going to be very template move, but I think it's template because it's a really good move. So first up, it's going to be selling Mateta and bringing in Evan Nielsen. I think that is just a very, very easy move for the team. And he naturally would come in for one of my defenders. Let's say for now that is for Konsa, but that could be for Vardial potentially if he's not playing at left back. And then we have a big decision on what to do here. I think I have to sell Kevin De Bruyne in this situation. And I think Bukayo Saka at home against Southampton away against Southampton is just too good to ignore. And it would leave me with a team like this. And to be honest with you, I'd be more than happy to have this team for game week 38. We got triple Arsenal. We're not fully invested in Man City, but I don't think we need to. We got ISAK for the final home game where they might need a win in that game for top 5. And I'm pretty content with a team like this. And you can see why I'm trying to just put the Watkins situation to the back of my mind, because I know in game week 38, the 2 transfers allows me to get some really solid players that could benefit my team. So that's the plan. Roll the transfer and then buy Saka and Evan Nielsen as part of a 2 transfer combination in game week 38. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, but I'm pretty much locked in for what I'm doing between now and the end of the season. Yes, guys, okay, that is going to wrap up today's Game Week 37 team selection video. I can't believe this is the penultimate one. If you have any questions, please do put them in the comment section. Unfortunately, I'm out today playing golf, so I won't be around for the deadline live stream, so I will try and answer the comment section throughout the day. I promise I'll try and get to some. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and, of course, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you for the final week of the season. Take care. Cheers.